Right, man, they ain't have a problem with who's impersonating Jack Ruby. That's true. That's true. Okay. Can I ask you to come up? As just introduction, this is Roy Stamp, and I'll let him give you a little background on who he is, what connection he had, but I can tell you that he was one of the newsmen in the motorcade that day, and so it ought to be quite interesting to hear what he has to say about it. Well, I want to start off by giving us a little background.
I was a journalism student, quote unquote, at TCU from 56 to 59, and during that period of time I worked for, from 57 to 59, I worked for KXOL radio as an ambulance chaser, primarily. What we call mobile news. There was a McClendon syndrome that was taking place about that time. We tracked down everything that went on. In 1963, I was back at KXOL, this time working at Kennedy, but as it turned out, when the Kennedys came to town, any old air experience got pressed into duty. The same while ago, I was watching the motorcade come in from Carousel, and that's only I was on the wrong side of the buoy and never saw the damn thing. I was telling everybody it should be there. But, back to you, Roger. I was where Roy Eaton told me to be. It just didn't work out. We had our map through there. No, that night when the Kennedys got down to the hotel, I wound up along with Phil Record and a few dozen of the four press people taking a few Secret Service agents up to the press club for a few days. And at that time in Texas, when the bars closed at midnight, there was no place to get a drink other than the cellar. In fact, Kirkwood owned the cellar, served a little thing down there called the Pink Jazz. It was great alcohol and 7-Up with a little pink cake curl in it, so the waitresses would know who was supposed to have it. And we wound up taking several of the Secret Service agents, some of the national press people down there. I was up there at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, went home, changed clothes, came back down.
Wait, you're right now. I don't know about that. Did you ever hear, did they have a drink at that time that was called the Salty Dick?
Yeah, the cellar? Not that I was ever aware of. They had one called the Pink Jazz, was what it was referred to more than anything else, especially because of the cake coloring they put in it.
Was it non-alcoholic?
No, it was very alcoholic.
Had Everclear in it.
Everclear, right.
Is that what the Secret Service guys were drinking?
Mm-hmm. That's what we all drink.
Yeah. Until what, 3, 4
Well, you didn't have a big choice of bar at the cellar.
Whatever they brought.
Right, whatever you like. But most of us, anybody that was in the digress a little bit, anybody that ever around press people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you knew several places you get free drinks. One of them was the Carousel Club, where Jack Ruby and the girls were, and the other was the cellar. And so, as a result, I knew Jack would come to the cellar and raid the cellar for his waitresses and take them over and make strippers out of. Amateur night that they had, things like that. When I was back down at the hotel early that morning in the rain, trying to keep from getting shocked on this antiquated Marty that we were dealing with to broadcast Kennedy's speech from the parking lot and then again from inside. As soon as the outside speech was over, I gathered up one of the remote units, took it to Arlington and set it up so that we could broadcast from Dallas back to the station in Fort Worth, and then went on to Love Field where I met Bruce Neal, who is now PR director of Six Flags. And we were in the motorcade. I didn't see anything as far as the actual shooting was concerned. We had not made the bend.
Where were you located?
Oh, I would ask that a lot. Yeah, we were approximately 10 or 15 cars behind the press box.
You were back.
Yeah, we were in the KXOL mobile news unit, and the Dallas radio stations got preference over us. What can I tell you? Right in there. But
was there something about them and that full-page ad?
anyway, when we made the turn we realized something had happened because there were motorcycles laying on the side and people on the ground and police officers scurrying up in different directions, and we took off. And the press bus had come to a stop, and we got around the edge and almost ran over a motorcycle that had been laid down the middle of the street. We figured they headed for the banquet, and so we turned up on Stemmings, and I tuned in KLIF to see what was going on because I didn't have a Dallas Police radio. And well, they were saying shots had been fired, so we took off. Bruce said, well, they're headed for Parkland. And we were probably the second news people on the scene at Parkland. They had to take Connolly out of the car for us to get Kennedy out of the car. They'd taken Connolly out of the car before we got there, or while we were running up to the limo. All I could see was a foot hanging over the side of the convertible.
Oh, Kennedy was still in the car when y'all got up there?
Yeah. And having worked mobile news for several years, we've seen a lot of gunshot wounds. It's pretty obvious when I looked in the back seat that he was gone. And Bruce told me at that time to get in and get a line and hold it. And so I went to a payphone and called the radio station and glued myself to that hot phone booth for about the next 7 hours. I think 6 hours before I finally got some relief. I didn't see much of what was going on inside either one of the trauma rooms. I got to the station. Everybody was at lunch. Bob Bruton, who was the PD at the time, happened to be there. Bob is now executive of the Satellite Music Network. And we started doing feeds all over the country. That's when I saw Jack Ruby in the hall, inside the hospital.
At Parkland?
At Parkland. There was we were discussing this earlier, the Wallendas, which were a famous tie-wire hack, was making its first appearance at Spalding at the Shrine Circus in Fort Worth at the time. The NBC had sent out a crew of reporters, I guess you could call them that were more artistic inclined than they were hard news people, to cover this Wallenda. And we were kind of surprised when they came bopping in the door over there at Parkland, about 3 of them, and Jack was carrying some of their gear, a little metal camera kit. He was popping right down the hall. I saw him go past. I didn't speak to him like Seth did. But if you knew Jack, you knew Jack. And he was very easy to spot. Maybe that
dress, do you remember?
Had on a dark suit coat, that proverbial hat that he always wore, and he went by to my side.
Kind of complimentary.
No, I was sitting in the phone booth, looking at him. I kind of felt like I was in the old outhouse.
Watching the world.
Right. I was sitting there just trying to keep the line open, fighting off different network people that wanted to borrow my phone for a minute. You're not getting my phone. There probably wasn't over 8 or 10 payphones down there at that particular time. Everybody had one. If you had a payphone, you were really in real good shape.
How certain are you?
It was either Ruby or Twin, but I didn't speak to him. It was Jack.
How many times have you seen him retired?
25, 30, 40. We'd gotten drunk together, and, I'd been in the Carousel a great deal, and seen him Cellar a great deal. He was fairly, that many people look like that.
So there's no
There's no doubt in my mind it was Jack.
Okay, I was going to say, water back to you. How was Jack dressed when you saw him?
I don't remember, normally he wore dark blue shoes with a hat, but what shoes he had on that day, I don't know.
You didn't know was it dark?
I would assume that usually, either wore dark blue or any dark color that I can remember.
I'm trying to make sure I remember exactly what it was dark. You got to remember the confusion that was taking place that day.
There's no problem with him being at the news and being in the hospital.
No, this was probably between 1:45 and 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, he was really.
If you had a car, you'd get the gas.
Or he got half early. But he gave him one. He walked down and he said, where he wanted to do.
Official announcement that we got, I was trying to go ahead and put it over the air when we first got there, because I knew he was dead, and I think the official announcement came in about 1 o'clock, 5 after 1, somewhere along there, if I'm remembering correct. So Bruce came running up and said it's official, and, you know, he's dead, and took my phone away from me. He wouldn't let me do the thing on the air.
After you said there's
Yeah, I know, I've been holding the damn phone. No, Bruce needed. Bruce did.
Where had Bruce gone?
To wherever the doctors were holding their little press conference to declare it official.
You don't know.
No,
Who
no.
hasn't told Bruce?
No, I don't
Bruce
know.
said you it's official?
He said the doctors said, yeah, Bruce came in and said it's official, they declared him dead.
How doctors started doing, the president declared it at 1. Little rumors filtered out from then until about 1:30 when they got so bad that the official announcement had to be made. The official announcement was made about 1:35.
We put it out there at 1:12.
Some of the stations did do that.
And that's because you had already seen that.
They wouldn't take my word for it. No, I wanted to put it out immediately, but they said, no, they have to get some official word, make sure.
After you had it on the air at 1:12, when you saw it.
Yeah, it was there for that, probably 15, 20, 30 minutes.
So you put it around 1:20,
It was there for 1:30. If I could find out what time that bunch of squirrels from NBC got there with all of their artistic gear to shoot in Parkland, I could tell you exactly.
He walked in
He came
carrying-
in with them.
came in carrying some of their gear.
Yeah, he was right behind me. I imagine Jack was down there probably saying, "Can I carry something?" It was a way for him to get in. Initially at Parkland, anybody could walk in there. It was crazy. It was absolutely nuts. The Secret Service people were going absolutely. Bruce Neal got shoved into the trauma room with Governor Connolly and almost had to fight his way out. And if you know Bruce is kind of different. He weighed about 125 pounds soaking wet. And, but he had to get out of there. Then they put up this security thing. And I heard a lot of people that told me that they couldn't get in there after that. You know, it just blocked off all the doors, and those of us that were inside were stuck. I had my phone, so I was happy. No, we had, as far as Jack being, it had to be after 1:30, I'm sure.
Right, from the time that Bruce came up and said, it's official, and y'all put it out, and he said that was right about 1:12. You got that thing because y'all probably went back, you know exactly when that's right. Right. How far, about what time period before that did y'all arrive there? Was it 15, 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
20 minutes? Okay.
25 minutes. It was sharply at 12:30, it seemed like we got there, maybe 20 till. Again, the confusion and the excitement of what was going on, the fact that, you know, I look at the car and here's, you know, Kennedy has got his head half gone and, the blood and the brain.
Yeah, let's back up to that.
Can you describe what you saw?
Yeah, just a minute. Did you actually see, I mean, you look down at the car and saw him. Could you think hard and try to describe as best you can the wounds that you saw?
I've thought about this a lot. I wish I'd paid closer attention. At that particular time, you gotta realize the shock value, everything else. I have got a very weak stomach anyway. My wife will testify to this when it's diaper changing time with Mom. You know, I have this problem, and I look down and here is brains and blood and bone. I mean, the back seat was a mess. Needless to say, it was.
Was he on his stomach or on his back?
His foot was over the edge and he was kind of turned on his side.
On his side. Could you see that his head was intact or was it broken?
It was obvious that the back portion of it was gone.
The back
Yeah.
portion.
Put your hand on your head, just illustrate what part of the face.
Yeah, I used this hand while it was actually from about here, this area right here. This area right here.
Have you seen any pictures that
No,
supposedly depict the wound?
no,
Have you read any of the testimony of all the people who described the wound?
not the doctor's description of it. I've seen the Zapruder film, but as far as.
Well, your description exactly matched
every eyewitness who saw the wounded. But it's our, at Parkland and, Parkland. But it does not match at all the description of the house assassination. It came up with based on the autopsy photos. The autopsy photos show the back of the head intact and show a wound in the front of the head.
No, well, not in the front, no, but in from the eye portion, again, it was quick, and then it was, here they came to get him, and I was shoved, and in fact, I was shoved down, and then I got up, and Bruce said, go get a phone, and I went to get a phone. It was not a pretty sight, and as I say, I've got a kind of weak stomach, and I was fighting a little nausea and everything else. You don't get accustomed to seeing it.
Anybody taking pictures inside the car and the president?
I didn't say anything. No. No. I had gone, okay, I went there. The next day, it was kind of recoup time, and then I was sent over to cover the moving Oswald, and I was in the basement when he was shot. I recognized Jack immediately. As soon as he had, I didn't recognize him, I didn't know what was going on until the shot was fired, and as soon as the cops grabbed him, when they turned him, and I recognized Jack in a minute.
Where were you standing?
I was on top of a paddy wagon. I couldn't see, and I couldn't broadcast, and all I had was a tape recorder. I was just going to do a thing and go to a phone and play the cassette back to it. Well, actually, it was a real recorder, it wasn't a cassette. Small real. I wish I did.
That'd be kind of funny.
That kind of got lost in the shuffle. I don't know, I took it back, this was a small little web core recorder that, we had. But I had taken, all this stuff I was close to and a part of it. I've never been talked to by the Warren Commission, the FBI, the police department, anybody else. Not that I could tell them anything. I couldn't tell them.
Probably not.
You could have confirmed the rumors about Parkland.
Like a lot of people, I kept my mouth shut. I didn't realize, nobody realized the relevance of it at that particular time. I mean, it didn't make any difference. Everybody was ready to put a Medal of Honor on Jack when he shot him. It was, Melvin Bell, I jumped up, go to the thing. By the way, it might be interesting if you could get Joby Brown Jr. and his wife over there somewhere to talk to you.
Good for him.
He's
Good idea.
Hey, he had a lot of conversations with his dad, and all that was that back, so.
You have a copy of the damn book?
I'm sure he does. I don't know if he should. The other thing and this, what I'm going to tell you now, has not been out of my immediate family. Two friends, Lou Staples among them. Lou was a reporter here in Dallas, and I talked to him on KXOL. He was a good friend of a lot of them. Quite an assassination book. Really got me interested in it on a full-time basis for a while. And then Lou got killed, or Lou supposedly committed suicide. He had moved to Tulsa and was working at the talk show up there, and he told me 2 weeks before he supposedly was suicided. He had what he needed now to break the thing wide open, so I got it off. That was about the time Tim Jones got out too. But Tim had been working with this. Date here escaped me. I guess about 1965, I opened up an advertising agency in Dallas. A gentleman came in, it was a brand new agency, and was doing fairly well. And a fellow came in and he said, I want to promote a bloodless bullfight in Dallas. Hey, we're promoting anything if you got the money. The guy was kind of strange. His name was Lee Odom. He was a dead ringer for Lee Harvey Oswald. Looked a great deal like him. I mean, a little bit taller from what pictures I've seen in Oswald description, but same hairline, same features. In the due course of promoting this bloodless bullfight, I found out that he was served time for murder. He was saying he was an ex-con. Make a long story very short, we lost our rear, or lost his rear, promoting. Nobody wants to see a bloodless bullfight. I mean, we promoted the fool out of it. He wound up owing me, $800 or $900 that he couldn't pay me. And at that time, $800.
Still ain't it?
Yeah. It was a whole lot more then though than it is now. But anyway, Lee came to me and he said, Roy, he said, I've got to fill in New Orleans to open some money. Can you loan me 100 and get to New Orleans? Well, I knew what the heck. And I gave him the 100. He came back 3 days later and pulled out a $100 bill and showed a horse and he paid me everything that he owed me. And, well, actually, when I said I gave him 100, I gave him a check for 100. I didn't have 100 in my pocket. I had 100 going on the Republic National Bank, which is right across the street from my office. I forgot about it. When the trial came up with Clay Shaw and Jim Bearson in New Orleans, it came out that Lee Odom supposedly had gone to New Orleans to contact Clay Shaw about promoting the bullfight. This was after he'd promoted one in our county. This is what Clay tested. And the man is either nuts or crazy or whatever. He just lost probably $7,000, $8,000 trying to promote this one. This is what Clay Shaw testified to, that he had approached him in a bar about promoting the bloodless bullfight. However, Lee's name was in Clay Shaw's address book. Lee's post office box is also in Lee Harvey Oswald's address book. Things kind of clicked, and I said, that's kind of interesting, because I know he was broke when he went to New Orleans. He came back with a lot of money. This I know, he paid me what I owed. I went back, and I said, I'm going to find that check that I gave that guy. I'm just going to keep it, because I had got a statue at home that has all my Kennedy assassination stuff, and including the, issue of the Dallas Morning News, the Times Herald, and everything. I took the check and stuck it in the thing. I was looking at it, and I turned it over on the back. It was endorsed Lee Odom, the way that I had made the check out. That's the top. It was endorsed Lee Harvey right below it. So, to cash the check at Republic National Bank, he had to have a driver's license that Lee Harvey. I had this check. Shortly after I gave it to Lou Staples, when Lou was killed.
You gave the check to Lou or
A copy of it. I had to do it. Tried to get additional copies from the Republic National Bank off their microfilm. It's been too long ago. They don't keep them over 12, 14 years, something like that.
When did all this happen? This was what, 2 years after the assassination?
65, 66. I'll have to go back and look at the check. I'll be happy to look at it.
I don't suppose there was any chance that you and Lee Odom ever discussed the assassination.
No, I had no reason. No reason. I don't know. When it came out in the trial that he was, it showed up in Lee Harvey Oswald, his field box number was in Lee Harvey Oswald's address book, and his number was in Clay Shaw's address book. He said, he approached Shaw and promoting the brother's bullfight. I know it makes no sense. I don't know how he ever explained his field box being in Lee Harvey Oswald's address book. They interviewed him on TV in a home in Irving. He was living in Irving, not far from where Lee Harvey Oswald. Shortly, about the same time as the Garrison trial. He was on WFA, I remember.
Another Jared. Another
But
we got lots of
this is one of the, I say, I can't shed any light on anything that happened that day. I don't know anything. But that was one thing that was very strange to me. Oh, it was
At Parkland, were you aware, were you told, or did you witness the Secret Service, putting the top on the car and cleaning up the seats?
I was in my phone booth. I take good orders. Hold on. No, I didn't see anything like that.
All right, let's go back to the cellar a minute.
Have you heard the story that there were 50 people present at Parkland? And do you believe it?
assume that, a police photographer or some type of photographer takes pictures of any shooting victim or accident victim, where there might be foul play involved, whatever. I mean,
Officially, nobody should be there. Never really be there.
officially, nobody should even know that keeping Lee Oswald in custody for 3 days, too.
Yeah, any reason to believe that that's not true?
Only if it doesn't follow any type of police procedure that I would have.
Right.
Okay.
All right, can I go get a cell?
I wish it was still open.
By the way, are you aware that Lee Harvey Oswald showed up down in Southern San Antonio?
Yeah, he worked in it. Johnny Carroll, who's a good friend of mine, who's also a cousin, a singer.
Was he a little kind of short?
Yeah, stocky.
That's the guy. That's the guy. I've been saying his name for years. Johnny Carroll was one of the first told me that. Very reluctant.
Yeah,
But then later, Pat Kirkwood told me.
yeah. Yeah, he worked as a dishwasher or something in San Antonio, I think.
Pearl diver. was told.
Pearl diver. Trying to get money to get to Mexico, from what Pat remembers him talking about.
Well, I think it's the other way around. He supposedly was on his way back.
No, he was back.
And he broke, and there wasn't anything open there in San Antonio that late at night, so I went in there and watched it. Okay, back to Sully. And the reason I'm interested is I just got to be dealing with this whole deal. Everybody, what really bugs me is that Pat Kirkwood, you know, and his manager all kind of said, well, we don't even have a liquor license. And what really gets me is that Bill Rector wrote a deal basically saying, well, you know, there's no understand that's going on. Was this an effort just to try to keep Secret Service out of trouble?
Yeah, I think so. I think, well, no, it's to keep Pat out of trouble. He wasn't supposed to be serving, liquor after hours down there, but we all knew he did.
It wasn't a single incident, was it?
No, it was pretty standard.
I got the two there. All right, Secret Service guys, were they, first off, would you categorize them as just there, or were they what you would categorize as parties?
It was hard to tell who was the national press and who was the Secret Service guys.
I remember they were all intervened.
Yeah, they were all.
They weren't, the Secret Service guys all were off by themselves.
No, you know, they took their sunglasses off, so you couldn't know who was who. No, they all had on, most of the guys, I guess about the only way I could tell which one was not, the Secret Service guys didn't tend to loosen their ties, where, you know, the guys in the press started out that way.
Right.
It was, no, they sat around, they were having a good time, they just having a few drinks and kicking back.
Did they seem to be preoccupied in any way, or were they just seem like, well, it's normal, busy, and it's after hours, and we're just gonna play off?
Basically. You know, looking back on it, at that particular time, you didn't think anything about
There
it.
didn't seem to be any kind of undercurrent there.
No, we weren't looking for it. I mean, if I'd known in advance what was gonna happen,
You'd pay for it.
I'd pay it.
Let's move on. When you got that check back, did you get it back between the time of the assassination and the time that Clay Shaw's name became public?
This happened, you know, several years after the assassination.
But before Clay Shaw's,
The check came back before Clay's trial. I had no,
what's that date on the check?
I don't remember off the top of my head to say, I have the check out. I'd be more than happy to, I'll be wanting to get the original and get rid of the copy.
Give us a copy though.
Oh, I'd be happy to.
When you say the legal had a sense of
When you're losing money promoting, when you're promoting, most promoters, when they lose, don't have much sense of humor.
in other words, if it was after Clay Shaw was famous, he might have done it before it goes.
Oh, no. This happened a year or so before the Clay Shaw trial.
So it happened right in the middle of the thing.
Well, so, the Shaw trial was 69.
Well,
And yes, Garrison identified Shaw in February of 67.
But he said, Lawrence says this happened about 65.
Were you working for me? Okay, when did you come work for me? So it was for 66 one.
Okay.
Very well.
Very well. By the way, how do you spell Hydell?
If you brought
I'm gonna get in touch with you, because I'm gonna get a copy of it.
You may have to check, and I think it's been kind of a curse to me in a lot of ways. I've just tried to, hold on.
You made the check for the he endorsed it.
He endorsed it, Leo, and then Lee Heidel. The only thing I could figure out, Lee never paid me with anything but cash. When he came in, he never gave me a check. When he came in the office and we agreed on our budget to start with as far as the advertising budget was concerned, when you promote something, whether it be a rock and roll show or a bloodless bullfight, the media demands cash with copies, cash up front. I don't care what kind of credit the advertising agency has. You pay, you go to the newspaper, you smiling, you count out, they really prefer cash, not checks. You count out the $100 bill. He paid me with cash. He never had paid me with check. He told me his name was Lee Odom. I never saw that officially. Thinking back on it, he'd never given me a driver's license or anything else. The day he came up and asked me for the money, I didn't have the cash on me, so I wrote him a check. And I just made it out automatically, Lee Odom. I never thought about it until I'm watching television one night, and they pop up on there telling me all this stuff about. The only thing I can think of is he had some ideas Lee Heidel.
Canada's a little bit different, but like, for instance, when I operated on business sometimes I go on the live communication. At the southern area, I get a check, it's made up of live communication. So on the back, you have to write live communication, but then under that, you write your name. If you're going to like deposit in your account as well. So that's what it sounds like, that the check was made out to Lee Odom, so he had to put Lee Odom, and then he put Heidel.
Then he had, whatever ID he had at the bank, he had to present it in order to get a check.
Yeah, that would have been a second endorsement, would it?
Two endorsements on the back.
Was it in the same handwriting?
Similar, but I'm not sure there was.
See what we're saying about second endorsement? In other words, Lee Odom endorses it, and then gives it to somebody named Heidel, and he endorses it.
It was cash. I remember from the teller stamp on it was cash.
And the public bank.
Yeah, that's the colored one.
So it's like he left your office, went right over there and cashed the check, which if he was that hard up for money, that would have been the.
Yeah, that's what I would have done.
Yeah, well, what it sounds like then is that he had some identification that identified him as Lee Heidel.
And not as Lee Odom. We sat around and talked one time, and that's when he told me that he had been in the pen for murder. He said he had served time for murder. And that he said that was, and he told me at the time that he'd gotten in a fight with a guy and he killed him, and he didn't tell me how long he'd served or if he did that on there. I don't remember that.
Well, we know that several intelligence people use Lee Oswald very forms. So there'd be somebody that was using Oswald.
Well, no, this could be real significant because, they tried to track down and figure out why Oswald was using an alias Heidel.
Well, and there was Lee Henry Oswald that cropped up.
Right, but other than the vague thing, some guy named Hindell that he served with in the Marines, and some guy that somebody, I think Robert said that he had a friend back in junior high or something named Heidel. Right, well,
That was
Jackson.
I read that somewhere.
Supposition type thing. But other than that, they really never established that he ever knew anybody named Heidel. And yet that was the name he used, in third place and like that. So now, so here's a guy who apparently might have been carrying ideas, everybody is Lee Heidel.
his name is Lee.
His name might have been Lee Heidel.
It might have like though. They're just using the name Leo. That name sure sounds familiar, but then when you say that he was in the Carousel Club, they think he was. I know it, well, I thought it sounded real familiar, but then when he said that was the Carousel trial, I figured that we probably just remember it from all that.
We go back to Parkland for a minute?
Sure.
He's still on the phone. I think that Ruby by did anyone from KXOL get a tape of the doctor's track? We'll be back at 2 o'clock, the doctor's out there on Kennedy,
I am sure that Bruce probably did. He was the one that was in it. By that time,
you have
though,
a tape machine with him?
yeah, we had tape machines in the mobile unit.
And you want a portable one that you can carry off in the house?
Yeah.
I think it's like
Quick, now it's 10, tell me the truth.
I think it's Bruce.
Yeah,
By that time, see,
in other words, you're not sure whether Bruce had
yeah,
sex
I don't know,
with him or
I
not.
don't know if it or not. It was Bruce came in there, Roy Eaton came in, Bill Hightower from our station was there. I mean, it was kind of an invasion. And,
Was Roy at the hospital?
no, Roy was at the station, he was kind of.
Oh, okay.
Bill Hightower came in, Russ Watson, I believe, came over. Bob Schieffer, who's now, with, Lee Harvey.
You know Dan Rand at that time?
No, I didn't know that. I knew, of course, Schieffer and I was TCU together, so I knew Bob, and KXOL too. He was over there, I believe.
Were you there at KXOL when George called and they were doing his thing?
Yeah, he and Jack both. That was crazy kind of thing.
Oh, man.
And then we had, Earl Fletcher was drunk, come in, fired everybody, and he fired him back, and give everybody a raise, we were happy.
Are there any other things with Carl and Burton?
I wish I had some. I really clear out.
Incredible case like this.
No, if you knew the atmosphere around KXOL, it's not. It was nothing. Well, at that time, Bill Ennis was on there over there. Just a tremendous amount of talent on there, that place. But, no, I wish I had paid to pay. If I know what was going on, I'd pay so much attention. I didn't pay that much attention at that time. And again, the confusion, you just don't know what confusion is unless you were at Parkland that day. It was a mess.
About much experiences in Ruby's Club, do you have any knowledge, either direct or indirect, that you heard about Ruby's relationship with Dallas Lee?
Jack thought he was in good stead with Dallas Lee. I mean, he always, he would tell you that, he was connected, and that if you ever needed anything from the police department, you had ins and that type of thing. But, Jack was funny. I mean, he was very moody. There were some nights you'd go in there and he would just be your buddy and your pal and have his arm around you. And the other nights you'd go in there and he would acknowledge your presence, but he seemed very preoccupied with something else. Dewey Rooney was on the Longhorn Ball, and of course, and Jack was partners for a while.
You know, Ruby owned that before the time he sold out to Billy Rooney. What was the name of it? Was it the Longhorn Ballroom?
It was Guthries in the Longhorn Ball. Guthries actually was the name of the club over there.
Guthries before it became the Longhorn Ballroom?
Yeah, I believe it was. That's where they had the white line down the center of the dance floor, and the black people danced on this side, and the black people danced over here. It was a little strange.
Did you know any Dallas policemen?
No, not really. Not that I would admit to, anyway. No, not really. I was not. I knew a lot of the Fort Worth cops. I didn't know many cops.
Yeah,
we didn't work Fort Worth. I didn't work out.
I'm just saying, I know what you're talking about. I went over and covered some stuff in Dallas, but you really didn't know Dallas if you were from Fort Worth.
Yeah, I mean, that was from Amon Carterville. It was really weird at that time. I never got that impression. It was never, I never talked politics with Jack. I didn't talk to Jack much except we talked football a lot. And, what the line was on what game. And that was about it.
Did you get any with it?
Just the ones that he had in the club.
Oh, that's right. We'll talk about that later.
I didn't know that.
this is a statement for the sort of question too. Tonight, I'm perfectly ready to accept doubles on Ruby. I'm perfectly willing to accept doubles on Oswald. Tonight, I'm blown away, I'm perfectly willing to accept doubles on Claiborne training. Do you mean that this man, who was a double of Lee Harvey Oswald, collected money apparently from KXOL?
I didn't say that. I said he went to New Orleans, he came back with money. I don't know where he got it.
He went to New Orleans, went into a business deal with KXOL, and came back with money in a period between.
Well, according to his testimony, or according to Clay Shaw's testimony, he only talked with him about promoting the bloody school fight. Clay Shaw never admitted giving him money.
Well, Clay Shaw testified concerning him?
Yeah, he said that he met him, and that's the reason he had his name, and that he talked to him about promoting the bloody school fight, but he never said he gave him any money. I know
that was in connection with the post office box, but not in the verifying connection, if you like, substantiating connection of your check. That's in from that field, correct? Your check is.
Yeah, I had not made that known to communication.
Okay, well, that's, for me, that is substantiation that, there was some business dealing between a double of Lee Harvey Oswald and Clay Shaw. To me, that sounds like the kitchen conversation. I don't know. Very Russo made it up. Here it is.
I wasn't in the kitchen, I was in the phone with that.
They can talk to another deal. That's the whole problem with this thing is so much to it, and some people know a whole lot about one thing, and some people know a whole lot about something else.
Go ahead.
You know, about Frank Ruby and organized crime. Any discussion about that at that time?
The only thing that we ever discussed along that line was, if we knew somebody knew a bookie get his debt back. And
I didn't know it was that.
no, not really. I mean, I knew other places to go to get that. No, we talked, you know, Jack was a big football fan. You know, we talked football, we talked, yeah, the things you normally talk in bars. You know, we never had any deep philosophical discussion with Jack.
Would you be surprised then if someone told you that Ruby was deeply connected with organized crime? Or would you think, yeah?
It wouldn't surprise me. It would surprise me a little bit. It would surprise me to know how deep you're talking about. You know, that's the thing about it. I think Jack fancied himself, I think, as being connected, having good connections and different. I mean, he would tell you this.
But you knew Jack enough to know what he told you, not necessarily what he really.
That's true. Yeah, oh yeah. There's a great deal of BS about it.
But you think that he fancied himself a whole lot bigger too than he actually was here? His connection with the law, or his connection with the outlaws, or whatever.
Yeah.
He thought of himself a little bit more than that.
I think we all think of ourselves as being what we are and what we are.
The Dallas police always tell that Ruby was, part of organized crime. Back when.
He would refer from time to time to Uncle Carlos, this type of thing. But
Uncle Carlos?
I wouldn't know anybody in organized crime that can't go hit me in the face. Back then I wouldn't know. But
Carlos from New Orleans.
No, it was, you know, Artie Matthews missed him on it. Was in the club a while. You know, Artie would ask if you wanted to drink, and you said, yes, sir. And yes, definitely, whatever you want to buy me, I'll drink it. I don't care if I like it or I'll drink it. There were certain people that you didn't, you know, that you knew back then that you didn't want to admit you knew. But working in news, you tend to kind of skirt around that over a lot. It's like Jimmy Lemon's Skylighter. Well, you don't want to tell anybody you knew Jimmy, but we all knew.
What do you propose to Mr. Bowles to do
We brought him from Mexico. We had, yeah, no, we had to bring him in. We brought bulls in from Mexico. They had to be quarantined for 30 days at the border. We brought in matadors and this one matador that we brought in, it was so great because he would go on TV, hey, on Bobby Wagner's show, and he would sit there and he'd go, how do you say such and such, and how do you say such and such? He had a degree in English from University of New Mexico. He spoke about English language. But, we had like five or six matadors, and the lady down in El Phoenix.
This is a really dumb question, because I can remember going to see one of those bloody bullfights. I'm not sure if it was the same deal, and it was boring.
Boring.
But I'm sitting here thinking, how did you know when it was over?
When they sent the cow out, that the bull followed into the thing.
Oh, okay.
No, they did a mock kill. They did a mock kill. Collapsible swords. I don't think, no, we didn't, they had to have the bulls destroyed after the fight. They couldn't ship them back to Mexico. I remember that.
They wouldn't kill them in the race, but they killed them later, right?
Yeah.
Thank God for him.
Here we go, bloodless bullfight.
Any other questions?
Yeah, it did happen. Paper also. Yeah, we lost.
We run off. One final question. Now, based on everything you know now, what's your personal opinion of what happened?
Oh, I do. There's conspiracy involved and probably 5 or 6 shots. But who did? I've got as many theories there as you do, probably.
Does it run the gamut from the top to the bottom?
Yeah. Yeah, but I really don't think William had any theories.
Good.
I really don't. I don't think he really. If Linda knew there was going to be shit, he would not have been that close.